nobody can use language about God that is denotative, definitive. Because to define is to define. And there is no defining God. He busts out of every single definition. All the language about God is connotative. It has a connotation, or it's analogous. I'm sorry for using all these big words, but it takes me way too many words to explain what big ones mean. It's an analogy. All language about God is analogous. Now, that doesn't mean it's not true. It just means it's not finished. Do you understand? And the Bible describes God in language of personhood. And I absolutely believe God is person-ish. But is God a person? Now, no body. He's not physical, but is he a person? The answer is no. Because that's denotative, and he busts out of all denotative fences. Do you understand? Yes, God is personal. And I'm delighted that God is personal, because I'm personal, and that gets like me, my jigsaw puzzle piece, melds with his personality jigsaw piece, and we have wonderful communion and interaction. But to limit him to personhood is fallacious and very inadequate. And most of what gets most of the world into problems when they try to think about, like, if God is good and God is powerful, how can he allow evil? Well, that question only works if you're thinking of God as a person sitting in heaven, looking down on the earth and making choices. Shall I push the zap button or should I push the grace button? You see what I mean? Now, again, do I think God is person-ish? Absolutely. But is he confined to person-ness? No, he is not. And Robbie, if I can quote you Friday morning, you said it so well. So then we get better theology. We say, okay, so we nix the person, and God is just a power in heaven. He is a power. The in heaven part is a little erroneous. God is. God just is. In fact, I had a young man who's tending toward atheism, kind of, but he's very, very, very much searching. A couple weeks ago, we had a delightful conversation. He's spiritually searching, and there's no question in my mind that my conversation with him was the happiest conversation he's had with anybody in 3 years. He said so. He said, well, if God is infinite, doesn't that mean kind of like everything is God? You have to go home. Because show me something that's outside of God. Yeah. Point to it. Point to something. In fact, let me continue just for a minute longer. The early Roman church, centuries ago, made a grave mistake, and we Protestants have clung to it. We believe that God created everything ex nihilo. God created everything out of nothing. Where did we get that from? Greek. Plato. Did God create everything out of nothing? No. He created it out of what? Himself. God did not create everything out of nothing. He created everything out of himself. So when I stand at the side of the road and I look at the sparrow, the mockingbird in this case, that God made to sing, and God knows, God has every hair of my head numbered. Do you remember I shared this several weeks ago? It's not because there's a person in a heaven thing somewhere thinking about the hairs of all of our heads. The reason the hairs of all of our heads are numbered is because all of our hairs are inside his brain. I'm reading language just to get the point across. We all exist inside God. So now, that language is, we all exist sort of like inside God-ishness, sort of, kind of like. You know what I mean? Because I can't just change definitions and then say, oh, now I've drawn a fence that's big enough. No, the fence I just drew is not big enough either. So that's not a denotative. It's analogous language. It's analogous language. But God is so much bigger than the person upstairs or the person who looks down. Everything we live and move and have our being inside him. When we speak, and what Robbie was saying, so when we speak into the air, and Joe, when you mentioned in the park, you're in the parking lot, when you're on the freeway, you're not just speaking into empty air, you're speaking into God himself. And that's part of the reason why the words we speak have such reverberations because it's not emptiness. We're speaking into reality. And a lot of this problem that we have with the wrath of God is wrapped up in this false image that we define God as a person. He is personish, and I'm delighted with that. But he so far busts the doors out from being a person. You understand? God is in everything, everywhere. And now I sound like a pantheist, and I've run out of time to explain why I'm not a pantheist and what the difference is. God is not limited to this chair. God is not in this chair. But is this chair in God? Yep.
When you were speaking about defining, a very strong image came to me. And defining is actually confining.
Yes.
Confine it.
Yes, exactly. Precisely. So we cannot define. As soon as we start a sentence, it has the word God in a sentence. Well, I believe God is. As soon as you say the word God, you have to admit intellectually you've taken a flying leap off all rational, and you don't know what you're talking about. But it's a fun leap, which is torturous to the modern mind, but is delightful to those of us who are in the Spirit. Yeah. Oh, our time's all gone. I need to quit.
Can you start next week with the defining, or not defining, but trying to explain how this is different than, say, the New Age thought of,
Okay.
God and everything?
Because it just sounds so New Agey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If not Hindu, if not pantheist. I don't know if I start there. I'll say that they all have a grain of truth that is corrective to some of our Western error. But they don't go far enough, that's all. To say God is, because maybe they're saying God is blank, and they're defining it. And they're not including God is person as well. God is person as well. And the New Agers wouldn't necessarily go there. The Hindus certainly don't go there. The Nirvana thing. Anyway, we're going on. But let me bless you. God is happy with you today. He's ecstatic about you and all that is yours. And anything that you do this week that's not in Him, He says, that's not the real you. And He continues to be crazy happy about the real you and who you are. And I bless you to go forth in freedom and in joy. And as you are people of freedom and joy, then you have the authority, you have the gumption, you have the motivation to actually take up the authority you have and speak God's reality into the cosmos around you. So you get to speak peace, you get to speak joy, you get to speak love into the world around you. We do speak life. We speak life on people who are sick. We speak joy on people who are sad. We speak peace on people who are in turmoil. We speak prosperity on people who are in need, etc., etc. Be blessed. Really.